Alan, stop moving it.
It's fine, I got it.
So a lot of you guys are curious, rightfully so, about what's going on with me and Alan, and so I thought we could answer a lot of your guys' questions. I've chosen to forgive Alan for what he's done. Dad wouldn't have wanted that, so...
Oh, where is Dad, Daisy?
No, stop it!
This is a stupid idea.
Where's Dad, Daisy?
Video's
Where's
over.
Dad, Daisy?
Shut up!
Where's Dad, Daisy?
Shut up,
Where's
Ellen!
Dad, Daisy?
Dad's gone and he's never coming back! You stupid fucking...
Welcome to the final part in the Daisy Brown story. In the last episode, we discovered in the transcripts that Daisy Brown's father had locked her away for the majority of her childhood. One of his colleagues confronted him about this, threatening to bring in Child Protective Services.
Well, why don't you get the hell out if I disgust you so much?
I'll go, and I'm coming back with Child Protective Services.
No, you won't.
Whoever this person was that threatened to bring child services clearly didn't go through with it. So this leads me to believe whoever this person was is the exact same person we've been hearing in the basement.
Please, can anyone help me? Hello? The door is stuck.
We know now as well that he has in fact been abusing Daisy, because in the next transcript we witness a scene where he physically abuses her for finding toys in a place she wasn't allowed to go. If we weren't convinced before, this has surely confirmed to most people now that Daisy has suffered through abuse for the majority of her childhood from a very sick father who hasn't recovered from the loss of his wife. Someone from her father's laboratory heard about this and confronted him, but we've never heard from them since. Following that, the upload itself is an update on Alan. He hasn't said a word in a good few weeks, and Daisy is becoming increasingly worried about his condition.
Hi. What's there? Do you want to hold hands? I think this is gonna be a hand. I think it's gonna grow into a hand. You want to try to say something, honey? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling worse?
And just when you think Alan could be gone, we get this.
Hey guys, it's Daisy Brown here. So as you can see, I'm pretty dirty right now because I'm playing with dirt. So a lot of this dirt is still a little bit frozen because of the cold weather, but I did my best and we're gonna...
No way. Alan?
It's me.
You can talk?
I can't now.
Alan can finally talk. Something we've been expecting for some time now. The transcript is a conversation between the Doctor, who is Daisy's father, and a new character called Lithop. But considering that the last video we had another character threatening child services, but we didn't know that person's name, I'm led to believe this is in fact the same person, as they both appear to be working at the laboratory with the Doctor.
Okay guys, I made a discovery. Basically, I found in this cupboard, there's a bunch of things in here that I've never seen before, and I'm so stupid that I never thought to...
Daisy is quick to make this upload as she finds a tape belonging to her father, and we finally get some answers on why he left.
It's Dad. This is going to be hard for you to understand, but I'm not going to be in your life anymore. I know you can carry on by yourself. You're smart, and you're strong, and you're better off without me. Oh, I really am a fool. I've spent years now trying to create something that would give me happiness and closure and make me feel fulfilled. But I never needed to. You were right in front of me all along. Rose would be so proud of you. You look more like her every day. I love you, Daisy. I love you.
He's finally come to the realization that he is unwell. Daisy receives an outpour of love from everyone on Twitter, and in the moment of positivity, she finds a cat outside her home who appears to be a stray. She brings it home and calls it Strawberry, another plant/flower reference. Although poor Strawberry doesn't last very long inside this household. The next video is of Daisy outside of her home with her feet covered in mud and blood, claiming that Alan chased her out of the house. And our next video is showing that Strawberry is gone. How did the cat die? I think the post on Twitter right before it explains it best.
I hate Alan now. I'm not going to pretend like nothing's wrong.
Alan is killing any joy she finds in her life, and we only have 4 videos left. But before we go on to these final 4, I want to point out this particular transcript in the Meet Strawberry video. The author steps forward and breaks character.
You all keep asking, is it real? Is it fake? Well, of course it's fake. To you. But I made all this. I couldn't unmake it if I wanted to. Am I crazy? Yes, definitely. But nonetheless, I truly hope you enjoy what I made. I also hope this introduction isn't too jarring. I just couldn't help myself. You won't hear from me again. Now back to the show. Sincerely, the author.
A lot of people have suggested that this is another character within the show, and it's not actually the author, because in a later video, Daisy actually mentions their name.
And everyone keeps asking me all these questions that you all know. How does that work? What's this? What's that? Who's the author?
But to me, that's just her repeating questions that she's been seeing in the comments section and on Twitter. All of these transcripts so far seem to be actual conversations that took place inside the world of Daisy Brown, but none of them were written by Daisy Brown herself. The transcripts are just an interesting way to expand upon the story we're seeing between Daisy and Alan, and this was just the creator introducing themselves, most likely down to the fact that they've been getting so many messages asking if it's real or fake, and this was probably the best way to break character without actually breaking character. They even acknowledged they shouldn't have done this, and it was rather abrupt, but they just couldn't help themselves.
Alan, stop moving it.
One of our final uploads includes a Q&A with Alan, who appears to have a much better vocabulary than what we had previously seen, looking to insult Daisy whenever he can.
Hi guys, it's Daisy Brown here.
Daisy Brown here.
I don't want to fight with you.
Because he loves.
Stop.
We also get a confirmation that Alan was the one who killed Strawberry.
Stop, you killed her. I've chosen to forgive Alan for what he's done.
Daisy has a clear twitch in her leg, most likely because she's very uncomfortable to be in the same room as Alan, as she's realizing how dangerous he's become. But if she doesn't include Alan, she knows the views will drop. This actually segues nicely into the following video, Hateful Thoughts, where Daisy has a breakdown about everything.
Hi guys, it's Daisy Brown here. I don't know what to do. Hi guys, it's Daisy Brown here. Alan's not gonna be in this video, so if you only want to see him, which I know you all do, you can just click off right now, because it's just gonna be me, and I know no one wants me, but this is what it is. I just want to not be a burden on everyone and everything for once. And everyone keeps asking me all these questions that you all know that I don't have the answer to. Like, what's in the basement? Tell me more about Link's disease. Tell me more about Alan. How does that work? What's this? What's that? Who's the author? I don't know any of this. I'm fucking stupid. I never know any of this. You should know this.
She knows that people are only tuning in to see Alan. People are asking her questions she doesn't know the answer to, and it's all just becoming too much for her to handle. She just wants friends. But the ones she speaks to on the internet only seem to care about Alan, or at least it feels that way. The transcript in the video has a scene between Alan and Daisy, where Alan finally reveals she actually had a mother, and was the reason she died. Basically, Alan's been getting into her head, and this conversation was probably what caused her to officially break down in this video.
I'm filming you, Alan! I'm gonna let everyone know how horrible you are!
You really are pathetic.
Used to be like this, Alan. You were my friend. What happened to you?
Daisy. You really must be truly desperate to think of me as your friend.
And now, welcome to the moment of truth. What was inside Daisy Brown's basement? Alan has grown limbs and is now strong enough to pick her up and throws her into the basement. While she's trapped in the basement, Alan takes her computer and begins tweeting his own thoughts. We know it's Alan because he can type better than Daisy. While she explores the basement, she finds none other than Lithop.
Is that you?
What?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
Oh, why is this happening?
I'm really so sorry. You're different from the doctor.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Lithop. I assume you're Miss Brown.
Lithops are plants.
Oh, I'm only part plant. The rest of me is real human DNA. Your dad made me.
Made you?
What's going on?
I'm not the doctor.
What's going
This
on?
is the doctor's daughter, everybody.
This is the science partner that was threatening to call child services, and we know this because in this transcript, there's a conversation between Curtis and Lithop. During the conversation, Lithop wakes up to find out she's in the basement and her legs have been cut off, to which Curtis replies with,
Getting child protective services is going to be a bit difficult now, huh?
this officially confirming that Lithop was in fact the scientist that threatened to bring child services into the situation, as Daisy Brown confirms in a later tweet that Lithop doesn't have any legs, just like the scientist in this scene, and contains real human DNA. Curtis goes on to explain that he'll be cutting her up into several pieces and making her part of his experiments. While Daisy Brown explores the basement, we hear several people talking all at once. All of these voices are Lithop. Curtis kidnapped her, locked her away in the basement after she threatened to bring child services. He then proceeded to chop her up and place her in several different experiments. And that's why she looks like a monster, and that's most likely why she can't remember anything of her past.
Stop. Stop. Don't go up there.
Oh, Miss Brown, you dropped your camera. Oh, you must be the little one.
After discovering Lithop and leaving the basement, Daisy gets her Twitter back and posts a picture of Lithop, and it seems as though Daisy has found a real friend.
Lithop is being my friend, guys. I feel bad I don't play with her much. I'm tired. I told her I'm updating Twitter and she says hi. I have a breakfast surprise for Lithop. Her hands are still cracked, but she still enjoys it.
Everyone begins sending Daisy fan art of Lithop and her. It seems as though Daisy has someone else to give attention to, but Alan doesn't seem to like that.
I just heard a noise from Dad's room for the first time in days. He was telling me to come up and see him. I didn't. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to listen to him or talk to him. He's not a friend. I have to take care of Lith now. Alan doesn't love me. If he loved me, he wouldn't have hurt me like he did.
This is where the journey comes to a halt.
Lithop and I have a plan. We'll be doing this soon if it works. I'm not trying to scare you guys, but a lot could go wrong, so I just want to say some stuff. Thank you all for watching my videos, saying nice things, answering my questions, telling me about the world, giving me advice, sending me nice pictures and drawings, talking with me at all. I know I'm not really normal, but you made me feel good. If this is even a fraction of how it feels to have real friends, then I love it. Thank you for giving me this feeling of being not quite so alone.
I guess now would be the time to explain the story as a whole. The story begins with a man called Curtis experimenting in his basement, trying to bring back his dead wife, but constantly keeps failing. The more he failed, the more frustrated and vicious he became, causing him to lash out on his daughter. Because he was experimenting in the basement, this caused one of his friends from the lab to confront him and threaten to bring in child protective services. At this point, Daisy's father had fully lost his mind after failing all past experiments, so he kidnapped his lab assistant and began experimenting on her. He cut off her legs and brainwashed her, causing her to forget about her real past. He gave her a new name, Lithop, She now referred to him as the Doctor, which is what we see in the transcript previously. He used Lithop's human DNA to create Alan and many other experiments. Once he had finished, he abandoned Lithop and left her to rot inside the basement. After a while, Daisy's father finally realized what he was doing was wrong. He packed up his things and ran away, never to be heard from again. The damage was already done though. Daisy was left to raise a monster. That is until she discovered Lithop in the basement and finally had a reason to fight back against Alan. And yes, the final video is exactly that. We open with Daisy sneaking around in the house, planning to run away.
You awake?
Yes.
Shh, shh, shh.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We just need to stay quiet, all right?
Okay.
What do you need that for? Are you going somewhere?
Alan, get out of my way.
You think I'm gonna let my favorite little dyke just walk out on me like that?
I'm not scared of you.
Just like you're not scared of cars, right? Oh, the gang's all here. Shut up, Worm! Or I'll snap your fucking head off! Daisy, no!
The video ends with Daisy and Lithop sat by, just watching the world go by, wondering what the future holds. It's now time to address the running theme of the whole show: flowers. Why are flowers and plants everywhere? Why is everyone's name after a flower except for Alan and Curtis? That's because Daisy Brown represents the life of a flower, and Daisy Brown's house represents a flower pot. The basement is the soil where the seeds are planted, where Curtis, the father, just so happened to be creating monsters like Alan who are bean and seed shaped. Above the basement is the surface where all the flowers go once they've fully grown. Just like Daisy. Before the mother died, there used to be a daisy and a rose on the surface, but Rose obviously died, leaving an empty space in the flower pot, which is the one that Curtis is trying to fill, just like Daisy was trying to do in an earlier video where there was an empty space in her flower pot and she was asking how to fill that space. Curtis tried long and hard to try and replace the rose, but instead of creating a flower, he created a weed known as Alan. And what do weeds do? They tend to draw the attention away from the flower. They try to replace Alan the weed with a strawberry plant, which is the cat. But what do weeds do to strawberries? They kill them. The weed was becoming bigger and stronger as the days go by. That is until a plant known as Lithop grew to the surface and ultimately replaced him. She finally has a true friend to hold close, like she first saw in the zoo video. This was the story of Daisy Brown, a tale of abuse, her father being the abuser, and Alan being what was left behind. This was Daisy's fight against her past, and she won.